Joe, what's been the key to turning this around and getting these last 2 wins?
Just playing together, playing connected, physical basketball.
Joe, Derrick has not had the kind of defensive series or postseason that you would expect after the season. And then tonight, it seemed like he was able to take away everything Jimmy wanted. So what is it about Derrick that just makes him able to like be consistent in who he is and just kind of continue to get under the opponent's skin?
He just plays with a defensive versatility, and he does a great job paying attention to detail on personnel tendencies.
Joe, how much did Marcus help set the tone with the steal right off the opening tip and the Jayson Duncan, then the back-to-back threes there in the first to kind of get you guys going on a run?
Yeah, he's just an emotional key for us. When he's locked in and playing both sides of the ball at a different pace, it kind of gives us our identity in our life.
Joe, is this the best performance in your view in the postseason, and what does it say that you've had probably your best 2 performances back-to-back games here?
It just says that our backs are against the wall and we're sticking together and we're competing at a high level to give ourselves a chance.
And what did Al give you tonight in terms of effort, intensity, particularly in the early going?
Yeah, everything he does is an intangible that you can't measure, and just his leadership and his physicality and his attention to detail defensively is big for us.
Joe, the forced turnovers tonight, you guys haven't ranked very high in those all year, even in the playoffs. What was different there that allowed you to force the amount of turnovers you did?
Just attention to detail, quality shift activity, and awareness to game plan execution.
And in terms of managing Malcolm, throughout the game here, as you said pregame, you're going to go with the flow there. How did that go?
He gave us the best he could, and we kind of went from there.
Hey, Joe, 47 combined points from Marcus and Derrick. It seemed like Derrick and Marcus both made every big shot that they took. How does that change the dynamic of the offense when guys like Jayson and Jaylen are able to kick out to them and they're making shots at that level?
Yeah, it just gives us a well-balanced attack to where we can spread the floor and share the ball and just play connected basketball. And so, those 2 guys being aggressive is important for us.
Joe, what's led to the connection? After Game 3, you said you guys were disconnected a little. In the last 2 games, something on the floor, off the floor. Jaylen talked about that dinner they had before Game 4. Like, what's happened?
One of our assistants put it in great perspective. The season's like 9 months long, and we just had a bad week. Sometimes you have a bad week at work, and we obviously didn't pick the best time to have a bad week, but we did, and we're sticking together and fighting like hell to keep it alive, and the guys are really coming together.
Is the cause to come back from this brought the guys together? I know it's a pretty obvious answer, but how has it, and has it?
I think it's just your back's against the wall, you don't have a choice. And so it builds a connection and it builds, just an opportunity. And so, like I've said it all year, the guys in that locker room, they always stick together, and when our backs are against the wall, we just have to continue that.
Joe, you talked about Marcus kind of being your identity, and given the situation with your backs against the wall, how important is it for him going forward to continue to set that tone every game you have left?
Yeah, it's been that way all year. When he plays at a high level and brings a certain pace and physicality, it's contagious, and he sets the tone for our guys. When he plays like that, it's big for us.
Joe, in the last couple of games, you've generated about 30 corner three-pointers. What is it about the offense that's getting you the shots that you've been looking for, the types of three-pointers that you've been looking for?
Spacing, and the last 2 games we're getting the advantage quick, and then the 2-on-1s are there, and then we're reading the 2-on-1. And so when we play fast but organized, that's when we're at our best.
And it seems like there is a concerted effort to stay down on up fakes. Is that something that has come up as part of like the defensive plan, just to stay down when Jimmy Butler's throwing those fakes out there?
Yeah, it's definitely a key to keep them off the free throw line. They're a team that can generate free throws and put pressure on your defense, and so just staying disciplined in that is important.
11 assists for Jayson tonight. When he's facilitating like that, what does that do for the rest of the offense?
Just spreads us out, allows us to create different advantages, allows us to run some different stuff, and that just goes to the connection that the guys have.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
We'll have Jayson, Jaylen.
Okay. So you spoke last game about how they were able to speed you guys up. Did it feel similar to that tonight in the way they're able to kind of force turnovers and generate some threes in transition?
Yeah, their activity level has gone up the last 2 games, and that's what you have to expect in a competitive playoff series. And we were playing in a crowd quite a bit, which there can be some good things, from that. If we read the game, read the coverages, and make the appropriate plays, but you have to give them credit for their activity, and they jammed us up, several times in the paint, with quick hands, strip downs, things of that nature. We have to shore that up. It's 2 games in a row of that. We do have to be aggressive and then make the appropriate plays with appropriate spacing.
With 2 chances still to close out the series, but with 2 losses by 30 total points, mentally, are you concerned about where this team is? Can you just tell us sort of in the locker room,
No.
where is this team?
Who cares about mood? We have a gnarly group, so I think so much of that is overrated. It's a competitive series. You always expect, things to be challenging in the conference finals. One game doesn't lead to the next game. Based on all the experience that we've had, it doesn't matter in the playoffs. It doesn't matter if you lose by whatever. We beat them by whatever in game 3. It just doesn't matter. It's about collectively preparing and putting together a great game. We'll play much better on Saturday, and that's all we just have to focus on right now.
Spo, we're so used to seeing Jimmy play at such a high level in the postseason. From what you saw tonight, why do you think he struggled to find his rhythm?
Our offense was disjointed a little bit. We weren't able to initiate our offense, get the ball where we needed it to go in spots where you could operate. If we can get Jimmy in his comfort zones and strength zones more consistently, he'll be just fine. And we'll work on that. The next 48 hours. But collectively, we do have to play with more intention and force and poise offensively, which we're fully capable of doing.
With the way they're jamming you up, you said offensively, does that require quicker decisions a little bit?
Yeah, I think, in the second half, we had some more decisiveness, with our on the catch, on the dribble, things like that. And when teams step up their pressure, that's what you have to be. You have to make quicker decisions and be decisive with your actions. Now that this is the expectation of how they're playing with that type of activity, it's our turn now to respond to that. And a lot of times that decisiveness and spacing and making the right play can lead to open shots.
I know Vincent's key to your 3-point volume, but are you happy with the number of threes you've got up today?
I didn't even see. I assume it's a low number. If they're, yeah, and they shot whatever they shot. Look, as long as we're getting intentional with our offense and we're playing how we want to play, we've proven that we can win, with whatever number of 3-point attempts. I don't think we got to our strength zones enough tonight. So sometimes that'll lead to paint attacks, rim attacks, free throws. Sometimes it'll lead to threes, but it's more the intention of how we're executing our offense.
Erik, you obviously went to Highsmith in the second half, mixed up a couple things. With the way the Celtics have played the last 2, do you have to consider a more permanent lineup change for this series?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see who's available, see if Gabe's available. I can't answer that right now. But it's always good, when a guy comes in and plays some productive minutes and see some good things happen. But we'll see.
How has how's the way they cover Bam, defend Bam, evolved over the series, and how has that maybe changed the way he has to get his
Yeah,
shots?
that's born out of respect, right? You know, he was aggressive and able to get to the rim and able to get to his spots. And so they've now made him operate in a crowd. That's a good thing. You know, that's what great players usually command is, you know, a second defender. But I thought his decisiveness on a couple plays in the second half were key, and he just needs to get into, you know, the rhythm of how they're defending him, and we'll see if we can get him in places where he can feel more comfortable to be able to get to his spots. And we all have to, you know, make sure that you know, our two main guys are playing in their strength zones, and that's on all of us. That's on me. And that's on everybody executing with intention.
This last one.
Yeah, Coach, just following up sort of what John was talking about. With Gabe out, yeah, I know Jimmy missed the second game against New York, but you guys had such a rhythm and the toughness that he gives you. Is that something? I know you're the last one to make excuses, but is that something?
No, there's no
that,
excuses.
Yeah.
No, not at all. But the Celtics outplayed us tonight. Yeah, that would be a disservice to how they took control of this game. Okay, thank you.
Duncan, obviously it's not optimal to go without Gabe after all he's done, being without Tyler, being without Vic. A bunch of other guys, you stepped up today, Haywood stepped up today. How important is for you other guys to sort of, you know, here we are, we're going to be willing to give what we can and to do a little more, and more collectively with three main guards out?
Yeah, you know, we knew that no one person was going to replace, you know, what Gabe, Tyler, Vic bring. So it's kind of got to be by committee. .H for somebody who hasn't played yet in this series to come in and step up like that was a really encouraging sign. I mean, he's earned that opportunity and does a lot behind the scenes to be prepared for a moment like that. So, you know, we're not here for more victories, obviously. So that's why we're, you know, shifting all our focus to Saturday.
Duncan, what adjustments has Boston made just in the last two games to really make things tough for Bam and Jimmy kind of in the paint?
Yeah, they're playing faster, for sure, shooting more threes, you know, which is a little bit more their identity that they've kind of had throughout the season. So, you know, we're not surprised by that. Kind of knew that that's what it was going to be. And, you know, just got to make it difficult, continue to make it hard. Obviously, they're a good team, talented players, but and we got some guys as well, so just continue to make it difficult.
Duncan, what was Spo's main message after this one?
Just to really, you know, not forget this, you know, shift our focus to Saturday, but, you know, let this sting, let this carry with us, and do what it takes to just maintain that edge, you know, that we play our best with.
Just a little on the coach just talked about the energy the Celtics brought early, fans, but their defensive energy they brought, that grabbing, the closing in on guys, and definitely it's been a change from the first three games. Can you talk about the Celtics defense tonight?
Yeah, you know, playing in front of a whole crowd like that, you know, they were flying around making plays, and, you know, we expected that. They're a good team. They can do it on both ends. They've done it on both ends all year. But, you know, we're a good team. I don't want to say, you know, we were surprised by it, but they raised their level, and, you know, we got to adjust. We got to raise ours as well. Yeah.
Jimmy, your guys are still leading 3-2. You have a home game to close it out. What's the sense after being up 3-0, then losing 2 in a row by a combined 30 points in the locker room from you? What's the mindset now where the series stands?
We just got to play better, start the games off better on the starters, make it more difficult for them. They're in a rhythm since the beginning of the game, but we're always going to stay positive, knowing that we can and we will win this series, and we'll just have to close it out at home.
Jimmy, to follow up on that, why is it that your confidence and the group's confidence remains so high given the way the last two games unfolded?
Because the last two games are not who we are. It just happened to be that way, and we stopped playing defense halfway because we didn't make shots that we want to make. But that's easy correctable. We just got to come out and play harder from jump. So, like I always say, it's going to be all smiles. We're going to keep it very, very, very consistent, knowing that we are going to win the next game.
Jimmy, we've been talking a little bit in here about how they've made it harder on Bam. What does it look like to you that the Celtics have changed defensively?
I think they packed the paint really well, switching really well, and just contesting shots without fouling at that. I think that's the game as a whole. But it's on us to get him in better positions to score the ball, get it to him in transition, stuff like that. When you look at the film and you look at how we can be better and getting him into his spots with the ball in a position and with the time on the clock to score, we'll be better at that.
Obviously, you miss Gabe, and he's important, and now there's no Gabe, there's no Tyler, there's no Vic. Other guys did step up and give contributions. Haywood, Duncan. Is there a comfort in knowing that there are other guys there and that they were able to step for you, and there's other numbers and guys to call upon if needed?
Yeah, without a doubt. Guys are so confident because they've been in this position all year long with guys in and out of the lineup. They're constantly working on their game, so they don't switch up anything just because, it's Game 5 of the playoffs or Game 5 of the season. They're going to do what they're comfortable with. They're going to do whatever you ask of them to do, and they're going to play well, like I feel like they did in the possessions and the time that they got out there.
Derrick, can you comment on the kind of the mindset of this group tonight? You never trailed. Any run they made, you answered with defensive intensity and shots. What was the kind of the focus of the group coming in?
Yeah, I think just having that defensive mindset. We were able to get stops, which allowed us to get out and run and get good looks. So we got to have that mindset for the rest of the series.
And shooting for you tonight, didn't seem like there was much hesitation at all in putting shots up. What was going well for you there? And talk about kind of the distribution of guys moving the ball around with consistency.
Yeah, they got a lot of focus on JB, JT, so they're always empowering me to shoot when I'm open, and I was able to find some openings and knock them down.
Derrick, you've struggled on defense in this series, and then tonight it seemed like it all clicked for you. And this team has been just trying to sprint around as much on defense as possible. How much do you feel like the activity that you guys have plays into your strengths and allows you to thrive?
We got to do whatever it takes to get a win. And that's a big side of the ball. And whenever I'm in the action, which I'm in the action a lot of times, so I got to step up and get stops.
Derrick, how important is momentum in this three-point shooting where it seems like when the first few don't fall, you guys struggle all night and it's across the board. But when the first few do, you guys just keep hitting the big ones. How important is the momentum behind hitting those throughout the game?
I think we just consistently got good looks today. Able to get out and run, make that extra pass. And when you get looks like that with the shooters we have, we're going to make them more than miss. So just continue to make that extra pass and find the right guy.
Was there a moment that you knew you had it tonight?
Not necessarily. Got some good looks and were able to knock them down and just kind of roll with it.
And then what has been the key for you guys staying together after those first 3 games of this series?
We got a lot of love for each other, top to bottom. We're out there competing, and we know it's a long way to go, and we got a lot of work to do, but it's always fun competing with the guys in our locker room.
Derrick, was there a point, Game 3 was the lowest point of the season. You guys easily could have checked out. Was there something that has turned this around and reconnected you guys? What's kind of happened off the floor in the locker room that's kind of made you guys reinvigorated?
Yeah, obviously Game 3 was a tough one, but throughout the whole year we've been connected in the locker room, have each other's backs, and I was confident that we would come back and just compete, and we've been doing that for these last 2 games.
Hey, Derrick. You talk about maintaining momentum in your open looks that you connected on tonight. You made a few shots that were just critical to maintaining the momentum for you guys. What is going through your mind mentally as you approach those different possessions that a miss could lead to a total swing in the game?
Yeah, I hit some, but JB hit some, JT, Smart was huge for us today. You can go top to bottom of someone that hit a big shot at a crucial time, and they're a good team. They're always going to come back and attack us, so we can never be satisfied.
There was a lot of talk after Game 4 over this galvanizing meeting you had the night before down in Miami. Has there been another meeting since then, or is that the standalone meeting that's propelled you where you are right now?
No, there was not, we had a good shoot around today, and everybody's locked in, and we're just focusing on the one game at a time.
Derrick, just speaking of that, after Game 4, Jaylen, a bunch of you said that we just would like to get back down here to Miami for a Game 6. You've accomplished that. How do you feel about that now going in? What it's going to take to win down there?
It's going to be a grind. They're going to come back and play well. The crowd's going to be in it. It's not going to be easy. It's going to take 48 minutes of battling, scratching, clawing, and we got to find a way to win.
At which point, it looks like the Celtics are crowding the lane when they're on defense a lot more, and I have a lot bigger crowd around you. What are you seeing from the Celtics defense that maybe you hadn't seen in the first 2 games?
Definitely more of a packed paint. For me, man, you just got to pick up that sense of urgency and watch film and get back to the basics.
Bam, Jimmy was just up here a few minutes ago saying that, expressing confidence, saying that you guys are going to take Game 6. Is that confidence kind of permeate throughout the locker room even after these last 2 games?
Yeah. Why would we lose confidence? When we started this journey, nobody believed in us. Everybody thought we was going to be out the first round. Everybody thought we was going to be out the second round. And now we're here 1 game away. So for us, man, we've always had confidence, and that's not going to go away.
You said that you had to pick up the urgency back to the offense and what's Boston's doing. What do you have to do when you see this, or even your teammates, whether it's getting you the ball quicker, or do you need to go quicker or catch it in different spots? What do you have to change?
No, I feel like we all just, the offense just got to get a little bit more movement. And, open shots, we take them. Everybody got to be aggressive.
Thank you.
Black Lives Matter, people.
Jaylen, just your thoughts on what you saw from this group collectively tonight, the way you guys were connected, never trailed in the game, responded to all their runs, and did you feel this was the best performance of the postseason for the group?
I would say so. I think we played 48 minutes. We played with great intensity on defense. I think we just set the tone from the jump, and we got to be able to do that and carry that over into the next game because we got to expect their best punch next game.
How were you guys able to set the tone?
Just instilling confidence in each other. As we watch film, we get more and more comfortable. We see where we could take advantage of matchups on offense and defense, and just being physical. A lot of big guys stepped up. Grant Williams has been playing really well. Derrick White on both sides of the ball, and Smart was just a beast tonight. I don't know what game y'all guys was watching, but Marcus on both sides of the ball was incredible tonight. It was a great performance from him.
Shots falling these last 2 games, is the quality any different, or is it just a matter of water kind of finding its level?
I think personally for me, water probably finding its level is true, but we also playing the game the right way and seeing where we could be aggressive, and it makes the reads, it makes the shots, it makes everything cleaner. You know exactly where to attack, you know exactly where to take advantage of your matchups, and it kind of allows a aggressiveness, to level out, and that's what Miami wants to do.
They want to really get after you on defense. They want to put you in bad spots. They want to, really be aggressive on the ball. And as we've taken our time and being patient and seeing the game is starting to come to us.
Jaylen, you mentioned Derrick a moment ago in his play tonight. He made a bunch of shots, but what do you remember about the timeliness of some of those shots that he connected on tonight?
Yeah, big time player, big time shots tonight. D. White came ready to play. As soon as they gave him any space, he let it fly, and he got hot from downtown. And on not just on offense but on defense, his aggressiveness is key. They try to put him into matchups at times, and his ability to be able to block shots, chase guys off shooter, guard the best player, get out in transition and still hit shots. That's really key for our team.
Jaylen, I know you guys haven't been happy with the way you've played defense for a lot this year, and talking about losing that identity a little bit. How have you gone about reforming that identity and reaching this level again over the last couple of days?
One, our back has been against the wall. Obviously, we didn't imagine being in this position, being down 3-0. But when adversity hits, you get to see what a team is really made of. And it couldn't get no worse than being down 3-0. But we didn't look around. We didn't go in separate directions. We stayed together. We doubled down on what we're good at on defense, and I think now it's a series. So we just got to take it one game at a time and keep playing.
Jaylen, just to kind of follow that up, you said down in Miami that you just wanted to get back there for a Game 6. You're back there now. What's it going to take to beat them in their building again in Game 6?
It's going to take everything. It's going to be a dogfight. I imagine it to be. I imagine those guys to be, play better than they played tonight, and they're going to come out aggressive. We got to be ready to take they punch at home. We got to be ready to be resilient and come out and do what we're supposed to do.
Hey, Jaylen, it seems like some of the hustle stats, it seems like some of the second chance points off turnovers, all that's changed in the last 2 games. How much of an impact have those types of things had in this turnaround for you guys?
I think that's the key. I think in the first couple games, they was definitely winning those plays, beating us to loose balls, diving on the floor. And I think in the last 2 games that we've been able to win in those stats and at least match that same intensity. And they've been able to come back down to earth a little bit. So we just got to be the harder playing team. They're well coached. Spo is a great coach. They got great players who have a great mentality. It's going to be a dogfight. We got to be ready to go.
Jaylen, you talked about the gathering where you galvanized on Monday night after Game 3. What else has happened? Why this sudden 180? And what's occurred? How has Joe had to do it? What's he had to do with that kind of resurgence? What's happened over the last 72 hours?
Just nothing special. I think just being together in moments of adversity, staying on the same page and sticking with it, doubling down on things that we need to do better, holding each other accountable has been the key. I think once we got ourselves together, we all looked each other in the eyes and saying hey, we're not going out like this. We represent the organization, but we also represent ourselves and our family. And obviously we haven't performed the way we felt like we needed to perform. So that Game 4 was the start of the atonement. And then now we've been able to pick up off that Game 5, and hopefully we can carry it on to Game 6.
Jaylen, this series really flipped in the second half of Game 4 when you started running them off the line and digging in and really running on defense. So what you were saying about Derrick, how big was he tonight, and just kind of keeping that intensity up throughout the entire game?
It's tough. Those guys, they play at an incredible pace. They kind of remind me, the pace they play at is kind of similar to the Warriors. They sprint to their spots, they sprint off screens, they find those pockets, they relocate, and you can't blink because they'll relocate. You'll lose a shooter for a 3. So you got to be disciplined. You got to be sound. You got to chase those guys because all night they're going to be running. You got to bring your track shoes. And D. White, we got multiple guys that can guard multiple guys. We got to be able to continue that. D. White is one of them, chasing guys off a shooter. But then you might get switched on to Bam. Now you got to bump Bam. Or you got to get switched on to Jimmy. You got to be physical. And having multiple guys with versatility is key. And that's what we got to be great at in the next 2 games.
Jaylen, how this core obviously has been through so much and accomplished a lot. How do you feel like
experiences you guys have been through over the past few years, the big stages, the elimination games, prepared you for a situation like this and are now helping you as you go through it?
For sure. Experience is the best teacher. We're a resilient group. We've been through a lot, you know. Obviously, it's the first time being in this situation, but it's a first for everything. So we don't look at it like we out. We just take it one game at a time. We just breathe, come out, play basketball, just take our time and do what we're supposed to do. I think we'll be fine. It's a blessing to be able to play this game each and every night. It's a blessing to be in the playoffs. It's highs, it's lows, it's intense moments. You know, it's moments that you're pissed off. It's moments where you extremely excited. It's amazing. So these next 2 games should be fun.
Thank you, Jaylen. Questions for Jayson?
Jayson, what stood out to you most about the performance tonight in terms of kind of the all-in intangibles of the game and what everybody up and down the roster was able to do that played?
Obviously, I think it started in that first quarter. First play on defense, right? Smart diving on the floor, getting out in transition. That was contagious. Smart played his ass off tonight. Everybody did, but D. White, Grant, Rob, Al. I think just how hard we played, how connected we were on the defensive end, sharing the ball, things like that.
Jayson, you just mentioned D. White. He was like a huge part of the aggression, the speed you were playing defense with tonight. You guys have kind of taken over the series ever since you started doing that last game. So how crucial is D. White to being able to dig and recover and just all the things you have to do to stay active against them?
Yeah, I mean, D. White was second team on defense this year for a reason. He's a big part of our team, our identity, things we try and do on the defensive end. He's a very smart basketball player on both ends. And his awareness, his instincts, they show tonight.
Jayson, you seem to get really hot there early in the first quarter when that led to the techno after it seemed like you got pushed on the dunk there. What did you see in that spot, and what did you see from the response from you guys after that sequence?
I thought he grabbed me, but, they didn't think so. I was upset, got a tech, whatever. But we responded. We just kept playing. I think, the crowd kind of fed off that a little bit, and we just kept making plays.
Jayson, talking about the atmosphere over here and also imagining a possible Game 7 on Monday, was that the loudest one in this postseason? And how does it affect your performance, the performance of the team, and also the opposite team?
I'm just glad we gave them something to cheer about today. We got the best fans in the league, and up until today, this series, we haven't gave them much to cheer for at home. So I was glad that our performance matched the energy that they were giving us, and obviously it raised our level. And they're a big part of what we do, especially at home. We feed off that a lot.
Jayson, it seems like this series is swinging on the other guys, the role players. Tonight you got 10 3-pointers combined from Smart and Derrick White. What goes into those guys being able to get those shots, make those shots, versus Miami getting those big nights from like Caleb Martin? And I know Gabe Vincent was out tonight, but he's had big nights.
Yeah. It's a long series, and you're going to need big games from different guys at different points of a series. And, that's why it's a team sport. You need everybody at some point to come up big. And, Smart and D.Y. is, the reason we won tonight. Those two guys, their ability to hit shots tonight, spread out the defense, and then making plays on the defensive end. I think we fed off that energy tonight.
Jayson, why do you think this team is so comfortable in chaos?
Like it's a cliche to say, you know, when your back's against a wall, you respond, but it seems like this team really gets compelled to do so when all hope seems to be gone.
That's a great question. I wish I didn't know the answer. For some odd reason, even last year, we always seem to make it a little bit tougher on ourselves. But what I do know is that, you know, you can see the true character of a person, of a team, when things aren't going well, and our ability to come together, figure things out, you know, when it's not necessarily looking good for us. It's unlike any team I've been on this year and last year, you know, just the core group of guys of, you know, being able to respond. And I think that's just a test to our togetherness, you know, obviously how bad we want it. And we got a room full of determined, tough guys that, you know, push come to shove, you know, you look to the left and the right and you believe that, you know, the guy next to you is going to do whatever it takes and go down fighting if it don't work out.
Jayson, what's happened to this team in the last 72 hours? Obviously, Game 3 was a low point. Everybody was down. But how did you flip the switch over the last team-wise in the locker room with Joe? Why do you guys look like such a different team?
Yeah, I mean, Game 3, that was as low as you can be, right? And the good part about being that low is you only can play better. It's only up from there. And, you know, I think part of it was just, you know, being down 3-0, you understand how that's never been done. It's, you know, all the talk about that. It kind of gave us a sense of just like, you know, everybody's counting us out. You know, the way we're supposed to win, we're supposed to be done. And I think we started to play a little bit more free, relaxed. Obviously, you know, our defense intensity, you know, being connected on the defensive end that showed these last two games. And then, you know, offensively, I think guys are just relaxed. You know, and really just taking it one game at a time, knowing that we have this uphill battle to overcome. But I really feel like guys have, you know, just kind of taken a deep breath. We were in that locker room after Game 3, it was the lowest you could be. And, you know, I think everybody just kind of relaxed, honestly.
You talked before about the roller coaster ride you guys have been on the last couple of years. I think you said to Roz after the game that the pressure's on Miami now, going back to Miami for Game 6 after you guys have gotten a couple wins in a row. I think you guys have won 4 straight road elimination games over the past couple of years when you've been in situations like that. What has allowed you guys to go into road environments like that and consistently be able to put together performances like you have to stay alive in series?
Like I said, I wish I didn't know. But you know, I feel like speaking for us in the last this year and last year, when we've had a lead or tied the series up and came back home, for whatever reason, we've I don't know, relaxed, for lack of better words, and you know, we've lost some crucial games at home, and really just had to buckle down. Of going on the road, backs against the wall, you know, nobody but us and the coaches and the guys in that locker room believed that, you know, whether it's last year or last series, that, you know, we were going to win. But, you know, like I said, we got a really connected group. We got a group of determined, tough guys that, like I said, I know I can count on. I know when I look to my left and my right, when all hope seems to be lost, you know, when the game is on the line, our back's against the wall, that, you know, everybody gonna go down fighting, give everything they have. And that's contagious, because we truly, whether it's ignorant belief, we do believe at all times that, you know, if we still have a chance that, you know, anything can happen.
And Jayson, along those lines, I know you said that you're off social media through the playoffs, but I mean, things got pretty dark. Various reports about what's going on in the locker room after Game 3. Did you guys take offense to that and hear that kind of talk?
I mean, like I said, I'm off Twitter, so I don't know what they said, what you guys said. I don't know to answer that. I'm just trying to keep a clear mind, good or bad. You know, just trying to focus on the task at hand, the next game, and it's kind of just as simple as that.